Hey there guys, DMO73 bringing you the second deck profile for the day. This is Josh's blue, green, white Scheherazade build, Scheherazade control. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So, Liberator of Wind, as we've talked about before, at the beginning of the game you can pick a magic stone from your magic stone deck, shuffle the rest of your deck, put it on top, and start the game with that stone every single time. Very, very powerful effect. And its J-activate is pay 1 colorless and 2 green will. Flips over to Scheherazade, the teller of 1001 stories, which has the enter effect to search your deck for any card and put it in your hand, and then you can tap her and draw 2 cards if you have no card in your hand. Very, very powerful. Although her stats aren't that great, she has the ability to make some really control-y plays, especially being able to search for any card in your deck right when you need it is really effective. So, stone lineup. We play 1 Moonshade because we're always going to grab this first with Scheherazade to make sure that right off the top we have access to all 5 colors for our turn 1. So we'll never miss a 1-drop if we have a 1 card in our hand with this. Really, really good. Then we run 3 basic Magic Stones of Wind, 3 Magic Stones of Gusting Skies, and 3 Magic Stones of Deep Woods. So this deck is very, very heavy in the green department, but it just kind of splashes white and blue. So that's why we don't run more than the 3. Plus, our Moonshade acts as our 4th for each of these colors. So really, really powerful. Don't really need much more than this, and so the fewer magic stones, special magic stones you can play, the better, especially in burn matchups. So for the monster lineup, we run 4 Familiar of Holy Wind. Pretty standard. You actually in this deck use the burn effect a lot, so enter, draw a card, and then you can also pay a green to and banish her to burn something for 300 damage. This deck actually uses that effect quite a lot, so makes for some really interesting plays, as well as you can skip the draw for Sinbad effects, when that becomes necessary. So then we run 4 Cheshire Cats, and I want to see if you notice something different about 3 of these Cheshire Cats. I'll give you a second. Yep, these are my full art, 3 of my 4 full art Cheshire Cats, the other one's in the mail. This is the non-misprint one, so this is the one that everyone, no one has, because everyone's holding on to the misprint one. Anyway, we've talked about Cheshire Cats before. Pretty simple, untargetable, 1-drop, draw 2, put 1 on back top of your deck, shuffle it back onto your deck, chump block, recyclable. Really, really powerful card all around, and also really easy to make use of with Sinbad. Then, because this deck is a control deck that likes to ramp, we run 4 Gretel. You're always going to hit with Gretel because of the fact that your 1 non-green stone is the first one you grab with Scheherazade every single time. So Gretel is always going to get you a stone, which is really powerful for the ramp. Then we run 3 Sinbad for, this is your primary kind of heavy hitter. The ability to quick cast your additions, pump something up when you're supposed to draw cards, outside of your draw phase, addition removal, burning something for extra damage, all really powerful effects. And a 2-drop for 600 is really, really powerful. We talked about it before. And then we run 3 Fiethsing of the Holy Wind for some extra mana regeneration, the quick casting for no damage, and just all kind. And I mean, a 500, 700 is pretty good as well. But primarily you're using it for the mana ramp, for some quick beats, and to be able to just quickly negate damage from a card as you need to. Then we run 3 Alice the Guardian of Dimensions, primarily because of the fact that this is spot removal and protection all in one, plus a 700 flyer is really powerful. I've said it before, I think this card is one of the most powerful cards that there is out there from MPR, and this deck really makes good use of it, so really good. And then 1, just as kind of an emergency situation, we play 1 Abel, because you can get to 7. You can get to pay that 7 mana to blow up the field, and in case of an emergency, sometimes that's helpful, just to be able to go, okay, reset the game state, make it so that I'm gonna be in good shape. You will need all 4 light sources to be there in order to play the Awakening, but still, if you can pull it off in case of an emergency, it's a really good card to have. For the spell lineup, the additions, we run 4 Witch's Dagger and 1 Loginus. So not a ton of stuff that makes use of Sinbad in terms of the quick casting, but this is free draw / free pops with Sinbad / burn, and Loginus is free protection and a 500/500 that you can quick cast. So, you know, you can swing in, they choose not to block, you just quick cast the Loginus and call it a day. Or if they're going to quickly try and stoning to death you, quick cast the Loginus, make yourself safe, all kinds of stuff that you can do with that. So pretty neat. And then the counterspell lineup, we run 4 Cake Zones, 2 Xeex, and 2 Xeex. So that's it for the counterspell lineup. So 8 counterspells total, 4 for basic spells, for normal spells, 2 for anything, 2 for summon spells. Yeah, so that's the counterspell lineup for this deck. And then the interesting play, I mean, well, not really. I mean, Stories Told in 1001 is pretty standard in any Scheherazade deck. This deck runs 4, being a control deck as it is, makes for a really powerful impact. And then 1 Apollobreak the Moonblast. You can play this to put a card on the field back on top of your opponent's deck, which is pretty interesting. The main trick that he uses it for is, say I have 2 copies of a card on my field, or my opponent has 2 copies of a card on my field, and I have a Stories Told in 1001 and an Apollobreak. I can Apollobreak the 1 card, the 1 of the 2 copies, put it back on top of the deck. Stories Told in 1001 Knights the other one, remove that from play. I know that there's one on top of the deck, so I can remove that from play. So it allows you to quickly deal with 2 threats on board, as well as any other copies of that in their hand and in their deck. So it's a pretty neat little trick that you can do, that I think, and plus forcing your opponent to top deck a card that's really bad can buy you that extra turn that you need to win the game, especially when you're in a control heavy, like a control oriented area, and you know you're loaded up with Z's and stuff. You just bounce something back, and then you're making sure that you have the answer for it when they're going to play it next. So yeah, that is Josh's Scheherazade blue, green, white. Hope you guys liked it. I really enjoyed playing against it. It was a lot of fun to see a different take on it. Always be sure to let me know what you thought of the deck, what you think you would change, what you would keep, what you think is a good idea, what you think sucks. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content coming up next Wednesday. And as always, guys, this is DMO73 signing off.